It looked expensive. Too expensive for two people who hadn't seen my daughter in 4 years. Madeline sat on the rug in her pajamas, legs folded, sunlight catching in her messy curls. "It's from Grandma and Grandpa," I said, keeping my voice calm. She tugged the ribbon loose with the quiet excitement only an 8-year-old has. Inside was a dress, blush-colored silk, with tiny beads at the collar and ruffled sleeves. Her eyes lit up, then froze. The smile vanished. Her fingers stopped mid-stroke. "Mom," she whispered, almost afraid. "What is this?" I leaned in. On the hem, stitched in silver thread, was a name. Emily. Not hers. Not mine. But the sister who tore our family apart. And still owned their love. I don't keep much from my past, but I'd kept their number in my phone, labeled as Mom and Dad. After today, I knew I'd delete it. But right now, the box sat on the kitchen counter like a time bomb, and Madeline, my 8-year-old, was brushing her teeth upstairs, acting like nothing had happened. Like she didn't just hold a dress meant for someone else. Someone who hasn't been part of our lives for years. Someone I spent years trying to forget. Someone named Emily. I made coffee even though I didn't need it. The kitchen was still, save for the low hum of the fridge and the faint scrape of tree branches against the window. Our house wasn't fancy, but it was warm. High ceilings, wood floors, and the smell of lemon cleaner lingering in the air. I'd bought it 3 years ago, after I saved enough from my work in financial planning to put down a deposit. I worked hard to build this piece. And now it felt like it was cracking. All because of one careless gift. Madeline came downstairs with her bunny tucked under her arm, and a sleepy look on her face. Her curls were tied back messily, just the way she liked it. "Mom, are you mad at Grandma?" she asked softly, like she already knew the answer. I bent down, wiped a spot of toothpaste from her chin. "No," I said after a pause. "I'm just disappointed." "Because of the dress?" I nodded. She looked away. I liked it at first, but it felt weird. Like it wasn't mine. I pulled her in gently and kissed the top of her head. "It's not," I said. "And that's not your fault." Later that morning, I sat in my office above the little cafe on Pine Street. It was small but bright, with 2 windows that let in the kind of sunlight that made you feel awake without coffee. Spreadsheets were open on my laptop, client files scattered neatly across the desk. I ran a financial consultancy for small business owners, helping people understand loans, budgets, and how not to make the mistakes my parents once did. People trusted me. I'd built that trust from scratch. No shortcuts, no cosigners, no family bailouts. Everything I had I earned. Which is why the name Emily still burned like acid when it surfaced. Because she had everything handed to her. And burned it all. Back in high school, Emily could charm a teacher, a cop, a bank manager, anyone. Blonde hair, perfect teeth, fake tears. Our parents fell for it every time. I remember once, in junior year, I came home with a perfect attendance award. Emily had just totaled Dad's car and lied about it. Guess who got taken out for ice cream? Not me. After she vanished, I thought my parents would finally see the truth. But they didn't. Not really. They grieved her absence like a death, but still couldn't bring themselves to admit she'd stolen from us. From them. From me. She emptied my college fund, took my piece, and worst of all, she never even said goodbye. I looked at my laptop. A new email pinged in. From Margaret Brighton, my mother. Subject: "Hope you liked the dress." Red heart. I didn't open it. I just stared at the screen until the words blurred, then reached for my phone and deleted the contact once and for all. No more pretending. No more crumbs of love wrapped in guilt. Madeline deserved better. And finally I knew so did I. When I was younger, Emily always seemed to have the world on a string. I was the quiet kid, careful, dependable, the one who did homework on time and never questioned a rule. Emily? She was the wild card. The star. I remember one afternoon in high school, the day Emily threw a party at our house while Mom and Dad were out of town. I had begged her not to, but she said, "Relax, Sarah. It'll be fine." It wasn't. The cops showed up at midnight. Glass shattered, the living room rug ruined, and the neighbors complaining. Mom and Dad came home early. Emily cried, swearing she didn't start the fight. Somehow, she talked her way out of trouble, again. But I got grounded. For a month. College was harder. I got a scholarship and worked 2 part-time jobs. I lived in a cramped apartment and ate ramen to save money. I thought the worst was over. Then Emily came back. With stories. New business ideas. Big dreams. "I'm going to start a bakery," she said one night over dinner. "You'll see. It'll be huge." Mom and Dad gave her their blessing and their savings. I wasn't surprised. They always believed in her, even when she lied. Even when it hurt me. One time, they took money from my college fund and gave it to Emily for a travel blog that never launched. I didn't say anything. I just worked harder. But the worst was yet to come. Emily's investment firm. She convinced Mom and Dad it was a real opportunity, that she had a partner, someone who would help her turn everything around. Dad cashed out his pension. Mom signed papers without reading them. They gave Emily everything. I begged them to wait. To call me. I worked in finance by then, I knew the signs. But Emily cried and they gave in. 3 months later she was gone. No calls. No texts. Just disappeared. And the money? Gone. Mom and Dad didn't talk about it. They just acted like it was a bad dream. I was left with nothing. That was when the silence between us grew deafening. Years passed. My calls went unanswered. My messages ignored. Emily was erased, but so was I. Madeline was born during those years. I was determined she'd never feel invisible like I did. So I built our own world. One where honesty mattered. Where love wasn't conditional. But today's gift reminded me why I never fully healed. Because even after all the betrayal, the loss, the years of being left behind, Mom and Dad still loved Emily more. The morning after Lena opened the dress, the house was quieter than usual. Even the sun seemed hesitant, casting soft gray light through the kitchen window. I stood at the counter, folding the blush dress slowly. Every stitch screamed Emily, a name Lena shouldn't have to see, a shadow that never left me. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. "Did Lena like the dress? We miss you all." I stared at the screen, hands trembling slightly. It was never just a gift. It was a reminder. A silent accusation. I typed, "Please don't contact us again." Then deleted it. Instead, I blocked their number. The silence felt like a breath held too long. Later that day, I met with my boss, Rachel, at the cafe where I consult. Rachel's warm smile and sharp eyes always grounded me. "How's Lena?" she asked, pouring me a black coffee. "Good. But something came up," I said, trying to sound steady. Rachel nodded. "Family stuff." I hesitated, then said, "My parents sent Lena a birthday dress. But it wasn't for Lena. It had my sister's name stitched on it." Rachel's eyebrows knit together. "That must hurt." "It does. More than I thought it would." My voice cracked slightly. "I'm sorry, Sarah." I looked out the window. The city buzzed with life. People rushing, laughing, living. I felt stuck in a moment that wasn't mine. That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind raced with memories I'd shoved deep down. Emily's smile, fake and wide. Dad's hopeful eyes as he handed her our savings. Mom's excuses. The way they still followed her on social media, liked her photos, sent money behind my back. The dress was just another cruel joke. A reminder that no matter what I did, I was never enough. I got up and paced the living room. The soft hum of the refrigerator filled the silence. My fingertips brushed over the empty box where the dress had been. I made a decision. No more waiting. No more hoping for apologies that would never come. The next morning, I wrote a letter. Clear. Firm. I am done being part of this cycle. I'm choosing peace for Lena and me. Please respect our space. I mailed it with the dress inside. Then I started blocking numbers, deleting emails, severing every thread connecting me to a family that chose someone else. Lena asked me once, "Mom, why don't we visit Grandma and Grandpa anymore?" I knelt beside her, brushing her hair back. "Sometimes, sweetie, grown-ups hurt each other, and when they don't say sorry, it's okay to walk away." She nodded slowly. "I'm glad you picked me," she said, hugging me tight. Her words were a balm, a promise I'd carried with me. The dress wasn't just fabric. It was the opening of an old wound, and I was ready to close it, once and for all. That night, Sleep escaped me. The moon cast pale light across the living room floor where the pink dress still rested, folded neatly in its box. I lay awake, eyes tracing the shadows on the ceiling, heart heavy with the weight of years I'd carried silently. I thought about every stolen birthday, every broken promise, the whispered excuses from my parents, the empty chair at family dinners where I should have sat, Emily's laughter echoing in every corner of my childhood home. Even after she vanished, why had I stayed silent for so long? Why had I accepted crumbs of love wrapped in guilt? I rose from bed, pacing the quiet house. The cold hardwood felt smooth under my bare feet. My fingers grazed the worn armrest of the couch, a nervous habit I'd had since childhood. I remembered a night years ago, when I caught Emily sneaking out with Dad's checkbook. She smiled, sweet and dangerous, and promised she'd pay it back. She never did. My phone lit up. A message from Emily's new account. Still watching. Always your sister. The words were poison. I didn't reply. I sat at the kitchen table, hands trembling, and began to write. Not a letter. A list. Of everything I deserved. Respect. Truth. Justice. Peace. The list grew longer. Each item a silent promise to myself. Each line a step toward freedom. Morning came pale and gray. I felt exhausted but lighter, like the first breath after holding water underwater. For the first time, I saw a path forward. I would not wait for apologies. I would not wait for their forgiveness. I would take back my story. That day, I called my lawyer and scheduled a meeting, not for money or revenge, but for dignity, to untangle the lies and find the truth that had been buried under years of silence. Later, I tucked Lena into bed, her soft breath rising and falling. "Mom," she whispered. "Are you going to be okay?" I kissed her forehead. "I'm going to be better than okay." The fire inside me had been sparked. And nothing, no dress, no betrayal, would stop me now. The first meeting with my lawyer felt like stepping into a new world. Bright office, polished floors, the faint scent of leather and coffee. I sat across from Rachel, calm, sharp, no nonsense. "We'll start by reviewing the financial documents," she said. "Your parents' assets, trusts, anything involving Emily." I nodded, the weight of years pressing on me. Back home, I sifted through boxes of old bank statements, tax returns, letters. Dust motes floated in the sunlight, each paper a frozen moment of betrayal. I found emails from my parents quietly transferring money to Emily after she vanished. A secret trust fund in her name. More than I'd imagined. One night, I presented the findings to Rachel. "This isn't just favoritism," she said. "It's enabling. They've been funding Emily's life while ignoring you." A cold fury settled in my chest. But justice, I reminded myself, wasn't about anger. It was about truth. The community where I worked was small. Word traveled fast. When news of the dispute leaked, I faced sideways glances and whispered questions. Some colleagues were sympathetic, others distant. I wrestled with loneliness. I tried reaching out to my parents one last time. "No," they said. "Emily is family. You are choosing to be apart." Their words cut deeper than any betrayal. But Lena was my anchor. She painted pictures of bright futures, full of laughter and love. I fought to give her a different story. At times I faltered. Late nights spent worrying if I'd made the right choice. If cutting ties meant losing more than just them. Then came a breakthrough. Rachel uncovered a clause in their will. Emily stood to inherit everything, but if she was found guilty of financial misconduct, the estate could be contested. It was a small opening, a crack in the wall. We filed a petition to freeze parts of the trust pending investigation. Emily's lawyer responded aggressively, threats of countersuits and defamation. The battle was just beginning. But every document gathered, every witness statement taken, felt like reclaiming a piece of myself. I wasn't invisible anymore. One afternoon, Lena tugged my sleeve. "Mom, I'm proud of you." Her words were a lifeline. A reminder that this fight wasn't just for me. The day of the hearing, the courthouse buzzed with a low murmur, a mix of curiosity and quiet judgment. I sat beside Rachel, my hands folded tightly in my lap. Emily arrived late, flawless as ever, a forced smile playing on her lips. Her lawyer strode ahead, confident. ready to defend their empire of lies. The judge reviewed our evidence: bank transfers, forged signatures, secret accounts. The room was silent except for the rustling of papers and the occasional cough. Emily's mask cracked when Rachel laid out the timeline: the betrayal, the deception, the money vanished. "Miss Thompson," the judge said, looking directly at Emily, "your actions have caused irreparable harm to your family. This court must consider the impact beyond finances." Emily's jaw tightened. Outside, reporters hovered. The local paper's headline the next day read, "Family fortune tied to financial scandal. Sister seeks justice." I kept my distance, shielding Lena from the noise. But the hardest moment came when my parents showed up. They avoided my gaze, caught between loyalty and shame. Margaret whispered, "We never wanted this." I nodded. "I know." Emily's empire began to crumble. Her boutique firm closed. The social media posts stopped. Her calls to mom and dad went unanswered. For the first time, I felt the scales tip. Not with anger, but quiet satisfaction. I didn't need to destroy her. I just needed to be seen, to reclaim my dignity. That evening, Lena and I sat on the porch, the sky painted in soft pinks and purples. She leaned against me. "Mom, can we plant sunflowers this year?" I smiled. "Yes, baby. We will." The truth was out, and I was finally free. The house felt different now. Lighter. Freed from the weight of unspoken lies and silent betrayals. Lena was coloring on the porch one afternoon, sunlight dusting her hair gold. She held 2 lemon popsicles, offering one to me with a grin. "Mom, are we still not talking to Grandma and Grandpa?" she asked, her voice curious but calm. I sat beside her, the wooden steps warm beneath my legs. "No, baby. We're not." She nodded, then turned back to her drawing, a big sunflower with pink leaves. "Okay," she said simply. "Kids know when love is unbalanced, even if they don't say it out loud." I threw myself into the work I loved, helping small businesses, guiding others to build honest futures. One day, an envelope arrived. No return address. Inside was an old photograph, me and Emily, barefoot on the back porch of our childhood home. Summer sunlight in every corner, our arms around each other. On the back, in thin slanted ink, I remember. I just never knew how to say sorry. No signature. No explanation. Just a quiet acknowledgement. I didn't cry. I didn't reply. Some ghosts are better left talking to themselves. That night, Lena climbed into bed with me after a nightmare. Her small hand rested on my chest, her breath